It's 11:59 on the 17th day, it's Wednesday, 17th of July, and you're locked on for another presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates. I'll be your presenter for today. And when we return, we're going to pause to give credit to our sponsors who make the show possible. And then when we return, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of today's presentation. We had a guest that was supposed to be here with us in studio, but it so happens that she's on the sister isle of Nevis, so we'll try to get that telephone interview. But first, as I indicated, we'll go downtown, say hi to Caesar, and when we come back, we get into today's presentation of Voices.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
The perfect smart start for their future with CHIP, the child investment plan from TDC Financial Services. Invest in your child's next step, and we know what's next is always changing.
CHIP, CHIP, CHIP. We want to get CHIP, CHIP, CHIP.
CHIP is a long-term plan with no minimum deposit, no monthly commitment, and you're guaranteed a special high interest rate per annum.
I want CHIP. I want CHIP too.
Visit TDC Financial Services today and get CHIP, the child investment plan, providing the best head start for every child.
CHIP, CHIP, CHIP. We want to get CHIP, CHIP, CHIP.
It's just about 3 minutes past 11 as I welcome you back to today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates. As I say good morning to Rosemary Donald, Miss Pam Wall, Mr. Valentine Monish, Dr. Mervyn Leader, Dr. Irvin Sweeney, Culture, Sister Henry, just a few of the fan base who normally log on to Voices. Amber, I think she's traveling at the moment. But I want to welcome you again to another presentation of Voices, wherever you are under this great, beautiful sun. Today's guest, well, not in studio, but I want to make a presentation. I have a discussion with her. I describe her as a friend of the Federation. By way of introduction, let me read. Brenda O'Neill is the owner of With This Ring Destination, Wedding and Honeymoons, the agency that has been in business for over 30 years. Huh? Yes, do you have it? Okay, is there a recording there? Okay, they know, but let me just go through the bio and then, pardon? Yeah, Brenda O'Neill. She's on the call at the moment. Okay, we have the lady in person on the call, so let's go live to Brenda. Good morning, Brenda. Welcome to the Win FM Studios Airways. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm tired, but I'm good. Thank you so much.
We count the blessings first.
Always.
So I was just gonna go through your bio, but then Trent told me that you're live and direct on the call. I know it's cost you. So I describe you always as a friend of the Federation. You and a whole entourage were here over the weekend for a little birthday soiree. But I would like to get your perspective, if I may, on St. Kitts. You've been here for over the past 20 years, just to get your view on, as a tourism destination, you're in the traveling agents business, you're in the wedding destination business. What can you tell us about St. Kitts? Because we're looking just to get a profile from a perspective of a visitor. Let's hear you.
I simply love the island of St. Kitts. From the very first time I came, I was invited by my son's best friend's mom to come. She was attending a conference so many years ago, and I had never heard of the destination. She asked if I'd like to join her, and I said, sure, something new, no problem.
Dr. King?
I invited my sister-in-law over from St. Croix,
Mm-hmm.
and we came, and they said we should go to Nevis. So my friend had told me there was someone in St. Kitts you need to meet. I said, okay, fine, Big Island, perhaps we'll meet. Well, that person showed up and took my sister-in-law and I on a trek to Nevis to find the sulfur springs that was pictured in the magazine. Not quite the same way as the magazine, but nonetheless. And as we were getting ready to return, we saw you, the King, and my girlfriend as well. She said, I guess you've already met. So that was the start of our friendship as well. It is a spectacular place. My guests were so impressed. From customer service at restaurants to the food to the events to the taxi drivers, they still are talking of how wonderful it is. And we still have 3 persons on island at this time. I just really wanted people to know and wanted people to see what I see and what I love about the destination. My youngest son does not like big resorts and feeling confined. So he was like, Mommy, are you sure I want to go here and I'm going to have a good time? And he enjoyed being able to walk across the street to Sweet and Savory. He enjoyed being able to walk down to Timothy Beach. We came from everywhere. We came from Tobago. We came from Houston. We came from New York. We came from Connecticut. We came from Atlanta. We came from Pittsburgh. We came from D.C. Just a wonderful group of people experiencing an amazing destination. I wrote an article not too long ago on how to sell not all-inclusive destinations. I think we as travel advisors sometimes get stuck on, oh, well, my folks want everything included in one price. I beg to differ. If you have seasoned travelers and you have certain destinations, they cannot be all-inclusive. St. Kitts is one of those. You want people to get out and meet the locals and see and experience. We went to a wonderful papaya tasting. Truly an event.
That was on Sunday, done at the
Eco Park.
Eco Park, yeah.
It was truly, truly wonderful. A papaya crab cake. Who would have thought of it? So we came at a very good time. We came during a very good week, restaurant week. It was good to meet old friends. It feels like home. It's good to go places and they say, you know, this man over here says he knows you, come say hi. Or Brenda, welcome home when you come through customs. And it feels just like that. It feels like home. We had a chance to come and see the Icon of the Seas on yesterday morning.
Oh, yes, it's birthday yesterday. Was the first time have you seen it like in port here in St. Kitts?
No, I saw the first arrival. Pastor Ira Penny and I watched it come in from very far away. We met the pilot, the harbor pilot who brought the ship in, and it was almost like a ballet dance then because it was still dark and the lights on the ship. This time we pretty much got close. We were almost at your dispatching station. My business partner owns MarriedCaribbean.com, Mrs. Jacqueline Johnson, and she had never seen it. So we got up early and came and saw it.
Oh.
And went had a wonderful breakfast at the Marriott. But that was something she wanted to do. And St. Kitts enabled me to do that as well. We went to Victoria's Farm, which was an amazing experience. I believe 8 of us went there. And she explained the herbs and the medicines, and we were able to support the economy there. We were able to catch up with Winnell Pereira of Pure Niceness at the CBI event and purchase from her. we were able to take the whole group to several different restaurants. We went to Patsy's, we went to Boozy's, we went to the Bistro. So I believe we left our economic mark as well as our heartfelt
What happened to Spice
mark
Mill?
on the nation. Yeah, yeah. So I just want people to be exposed. And
I
we're
was
both writing
asking you
articles.
what happened to Spice Mill.
Oh, well, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
That was absolutely perfect. I am blessed to have an amazing partner in Hasina Ahmed, and she does design, and she bought the florals from New York. I originally said I only wanted white linens, no fuss, no nothing. And she said, well, that's not the way we do it. So the young lady at Spice Mill, and I'll call her name in a second, and Roger were absolutely wonderful in helping us execute the location we wanted and just making it the way it would be and be comfortable. I didn't want it too over the top, but I wanted it to be enough of an impression, and I think we accomplished that. My daughter-in-law stepped in, my sorority sister here in the States, her husband is a DJ. He had made me a playlist of 300 songs, but for some reason we could not figure out how to make that happen. And when I get in situations, I always call my nephew, Taryn Page, in Detroit, and I say, I need music. He put together 100 of the best songs. People were saying it's the best playlist they had ever heard. My daughter-in-law stepped up and was my DJ. Roger never left. Neslin is her name, and I'm sorry I forgot.
Yep.
Neslin never left. Everyone stayed to make sure all was well. The food was perfect. Daryl Charles from Modern Elegance sent a gentleman with a drone because I really, in my heart, wanted to do a flag wave with the petition flag. And he came with the drone and did that for us. So I can't wait to see those pictures when they are done as well.
Okay, you're currently on Nevis
Yeah.
at the moment. So would it be fair to say that you know your way around? You've been to the Mango Fest in the past. Would it be fair to say that you know your way around? Because I saw you hobnobbing with Carl Astafan. And I want to ask you, what were you doing hugging with the Prime Minister?
I fortunately have the pictures with 3 of the prime ministers of St. Kitts. I have a picture with the Honorable Denzel Douglas. I have a photo with the Honorable Dr. Timothy
Harris?
Harris, and I have also the photo now with Dr. Drew. And it's funny because none of those were ever staged. They just kind of happened.
You're collecting Prime Ministers?
No, I will give them all back to you. And we have our presidents as well. But I do respect them, and I do respect what they do for the destination. I met Dr. Douglas at the Essence of Hope Breast Cancer Walk. I do support that organization, as I myself am a breast cancer survivor. I met Dr. Timothy Harris when I was staying at the Marriott, and he has come to tell me that I am his favorite travel advisor, so it was certainly a pleasure to see him again. And my petition friends were joking, the only one you're missing is Dr. Drew. And when my friend Maxine brought me back from a shopping expedition, he was in the lobby, and I asked if he would mind, and he said certainly not. And he congratulated me on the milestone 70th birthday. So it truly was an amazing, amazing experience for everyone involved. They had a chance to go to the beach. They had a chance to take an amazing tour with you. I wanted the best for them, and you are the best. And even as you say, we are North Korea and South Korea sometimes. I think we handled it very, very well and presented a good front to our guests. So I think that all in all, they are eager to come back again because they wish they had stayed longer to see more.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I did it the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to make sure that we touched as many people as we could and made as much of a difference as we could. I certainly think that Victoria's Farm should be a tour that is explored through tourism because I have a sorority sister from Nashville who bought almost everything the woman had, and then I had come to the airport to bring more. So the 8 of us experienced, I think it was papaya, passion fruit, and mango smoothie that her husband Sydney made for us. And they also made the prickly pear juice, and she just explained what the different natural herbs can do.
She
And
does
several of the guests
great job
did
doing
not
that, actually.
Yeah, they did not experience pain in their neck anymore, didn't experience pain in their knees anymore. It just was amazing to watch. And I wanted to make sure everyone got a chance to do what they like to do. So I really only programmed the tour with you, and I really only programmed evening meals. We did come together for some breakfast and so forth. The cake was locally made. The sign that said 70th birthday was locally made. So we tried to make sure that we didn't, and that's what I do with my weddings. I try to use my resources there, I prefer not to just bring things in and maybe make it way too easy. You do a little bit of research, but we found someone. Maxine found someone to make the sign for me. Never knew St. Kitts had a printing shop. Never knew. So, again, you all have a beautiful destination, and I celebrate you. And the restaurant week, again, we picked an amazing time without actually knowing we picked it. We picked an amazing time to
Well,
visit the destination. Weather.
This brings me to the
we come-
point. This is the point I want to ask you. Right, being here, having been here several times, speaking so very highly of the Federation, what would you say to the uninitiated tourists who want to go to some place in the region? You've been here. What would you say to them if you were to recommend St. Kitts? How would you advise them to go about the vacation here, apart from where they're staying, but about interacting with the local culture and getting out there, etc.? Because there's this question about safety in the minds of travelers. You have been here several times. I believe you deserve a passport. But speak to, as if you're speaking to tourists from North America or Europe or wherever who wants to come to one of the islands. And, well, I won't know if St. Kitts is your favorite, but let's hear what you would have to say in that regard.
There is no safety issue. There is no difference in being in the States, except that in the States we have areas where we know not to go. I don't believe St. Kitts has such a thing. My guests felt comfortable getting up in the morning, going swimming with the locals. My family from Tobago thought that was the best thing in life. They got up, went to Timothy Beach, swam with the locals, had a wonderful time. There is, your taxi drivers are very, very safe. So for cruise lines to say perhaps, that maybe not so safe, I think that's definitely a farce because you all handled us well. We had a blind guest with us, my sorry sister Daria, and everyone loved on her from the airport to the hotel to the restaurants to make sure she felt well. Even she said, Brenda, I can't see it, but I can feel it. And that was so impressive to me that she really could feel the love in the destination. From the moment we got off of the aircraft, I did some training in St. Kitts years ago when U.S. Airways started flying. And people would come to me, oh, I remember you. I know who you are. And they give me a big hug. It's just beautiful. You don't have to feel locked up no matter where you stay. And St. Kitts has something for everyone. If you need an Airbnb and just want to do that, that's fine. If you drive left, you can't get lost. It's really one big circle. Trust me, I've done it. You can't get lost. It's just, it has, as an agent and an advisor, we have to prepare our guests. It has to be the right client. For a client who has not traveled much, you do have to educate them. I've traveled to Saudi Arabia. You cannot change a culture. In St. Kitts, you cannot walk around using F-bombs and carrying on like that. So you have to educate them and then let them embrace the culture. I enjoy seeing the masqueraders. I had to have someone explain to me what it's all about with the bull because I didn't know. I've heard you sing the song, but I didn't know what it meant. So those types of things, I think, as travel advisors, we're challenged to make sure that we prepare our clients to embrace, to understand it is safe to go out at night, to understand it is safe to go to restaurants, to understand that you will be treated well, to understand that you will. And I think it's important for St. Kitts and Nevis as well to make sure their guests are aware of the different events taking place. Because you yourself really didn't even know about the event on Sunday, right?
Yep.
So it's imperative to do your research because I think once you all get a really good handle on stayover guests, I think that will be amazing because to be able to attend something like that, we literally push chairs together, sat under a tree, ate sugar cane, drank coconut water. We had little passports that you could go to each individual restaurant and check off and taste their food, get their drinks, get their desserts, get their ice cream. And Eco Park is beautiful. Hasina and I are dying to do a wedding there, just dying to do it, and working diligently to get a wedding there because you have so much to offer. We've done weddings off of the cruise ships. So easy to do. So many different venues to pick from. It has something for everyone, but you are probably the best kept secret in the Caribbean because everybody's like, well, where is it? When I created my Facebook page, I purposely put a map so I could show people where you are because, well, where is it? Well, did the hurricane come there? Well, what, so you really have to educate.
Have that awareness.
And there's a page where people are asking some of the strangest questions, and I go in from time to time and answer because it's like the perception is not correct. You're not quite understanding what you're coming to do. So I think that tourism is doing a very good job. I think they'll continue to do a very good job with the change. and we'll be back. We certainly will be back if we ever leave. We will
Okay.
certainly be back. But yeah, you're extra special in that destination, and I just want more of the world to see it because we do have clients who are tired of the Mexicos, tired of the Jamaicas, tired of the Dominican Republic. They want something different. But again, you have to prepare them for the something different. We helped create a budget on my page of about how much a day you would spend while you're in St. Kitts so that people didn't have a fear of, oh, God, my meals aren't included, oh, my drinks aren't included. I don't know how much this is going to cost me.
And you're better
So we
suited
broke
to
it down.
advise them. With the experience that you've had here, you're better suited to advise them as to where they can go and get great food without breaking the bank.
We went to the dock on Sunday night, and I remember when you and your band used to play there. We went to the dock, and we had options of ribs, chicken, and I think it was hamburger, and you could have corn on the cob, you could have garlic bread, you could have coleslaw, and we did all of that for like $11. And they
Okay.
had a live band, and they had a DJ, and we laughed and sang till 11 o'clock at night, from 7 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, can you stay with us for a bit longer because I do have to make a station break. If you can hold with us, we'll be back to hear more of what you're offering. Because I have a question to ask you about your affiliation with the Antigua's Tourism Board. So is
No
it part?
worries, I'll be.
Okay, thank you. Trent, take us downtown, please. Thank you.
TDC Financial Services. We're here for you to help you make your dreams come true. Whether your needs are big or small, we'll support you with them all. TDC Financial Services. We are strong. TDC Financial Services. This is where you belong.
TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow. Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around.
Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Magnum, my brand. Everybody put a Magnum in the air now. From you a drink Magnum, make me see. Take charge of things now your place now. From the river to the beach to the street. Hot Magnum when me have in a me hand there. He are a sipper, she tell me sweet. Look for me watch for your quick time check. Yeah. Right now a Magnum a for your beat. Enjoy yourself every day of the week with a Magnum. My life I forget sweeter. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
At 23 minutes down past 11 o'clock, we welcome you back to Voices as we have an interview, a little chit chat with Miss Brenda O'Neill, travel agent and friend with Federation. Hopefully you're there, Brenda.
I'm here.
Okay, thanks for holding. Yes, my question was, I know that you're affiliated with the Antigua Tourism Board. I'm not sure in what capacity, but the question is, how come you're this big fan of St. Kitts, but you're working for Antigua? So can you please explain it for us? Thank you.
Not working for Antigua. Dean Fenton is an amazing young man, and he heads the U.S. sales team. We've been friends for a very long time, and they do something very, very well that we hope at some point in time St. Kitts will do. So my term has expired, but for 2 years I served as the chairman of the Travel Agent Advisory Board for Antigua and Barbuda, where they sought out agents and sought out our opinions as to how to make the destination better, what policies, what procedures would be in place. So that's what we did. But again, my term expired. I do believe it was in earlier this year. I did speak at a press conference, as you'll remember, a while ago, and suggest to St. Kitts that that's something that would benefit them. Because there is wisdom out here, there is knowledge out here. There are agents who are seasoned and not who are able to assist with ideas going forward. So that is what that board did. I also served on the board of the Association of Black Travel Professionals because we find ourselves not well represented in an industry that we well support. So I served 2 years on that board as well. We do have a couple of secrets coming to the beautiful island of St. Kitts. in the not too distant future. I currently serve as the chapter head for the English speaking Caribbean for the International Association of Destination Wedding Professionals. So we're looking forward to doing some things that are not necessarily in Mexico or in Colombia. We're looking something more on the idea of a Love Caribbean type of event to get, because you have a lot to gain from the Spanish-speaking culture. Their customer service cannot be taught. I actually had to teach a class on how to say no because they want to please, they want to say yes, but sometimes saying yes causes more problems than just saying no.
Okay. Can I just read something? Because you're touching on things that I was trying to get across to the viewers and listeners. But let me just read what I have here as a bio of you, and that would cover quite a few of the things that you're touching on. It says Brenda O'Neill is the owner of With This Ring, Destination Wedding and Honeymoons. The agency has been in business for over 30 years. Her weddings have spanned the Caribbean and Mexico and have been featured in several of the national and global publications. She has completed several wedding destinations specialist training and has been a featured speaker at several events. Brenda has been selected to attend the GTM Global, something you'll have to explain what that is, flagship of West and where she was also a member of the Female Leaders in Travel. Miss O'Neill currently serves as the sales director of MaryCaribbean.com and as the chair of Antigua and Barbuda Travel Agent Advisory Board. Brenda served 2 terms as a board member for the Association of Black Travel Professionals and is currently a Cruise World member. Several of the articles have been published in Agents at Home. Several of the articles have been published in Agent at Home magazine. Agent at Home magazines, Travel Plus, and Compass magazines. Miss O'Neill has been a member of the Vacation Express President Club. For her sales, Brenda also serves as the chapter head of the English-speaking, that should be Caribbean, with the International Association of Destination Wedding Professionals. That's quite a mouthful, but that's what you represent and how you flow. So, okay, I think I'll cover that now. So the mic is yours.
A GTM is Global Travel Marketplace. You must be an agent with $1 million in sales or more to attend, and there is a selective process for that. I've been fortunate to attend a couple of times. You can attend every other year. You have to sit out a year. And I've been honored to refer some other wonderful and amazing African-American travel agents as well for that. There is also an organization by your own Natalie John called
Dreamy
Caribbean Wedding Event Professionals, I believe it's CWEP. And that's a wonderful organization as well, organizing wedding planners and event planners throughout the Caribbean. So there is a lot going on. Again, we have high hopes for St. Kitts because it is a destination we believe underserved, and we believe it has such potential. Again, doing right. I believe everything should be done local. When we do our weddings, everything must be local. Your photographer, your cake, your floral designs, all of that has to be. I have no intention of bringing those napkins and tablecloths and so forth back. So we source those out to someone on island who can also use them as well. So again, I believe that you are probably, I cannot say my favorite, but you are right there at number 2, I do believe, of my favorite destinations. And as you know, I continue to bring people, continue to tell, continue to write, continue to want people to experience all that St. Kitts and Nevis has to offer. I really, really want them to experience that. And again, with this contingent, they enjoyed every single minute from the moment they landed to the minute they left. They enjoyed every moment of it. I wanted watermelon juice. I called Kevin. Kevin met me in the parking lot at Timothy Beach and bought my watermelon juice, along with ginger shots for help in the morning. So you all have been more than accommodating for my guests as well, and we are truly grateful. And it was a memory that we shall not forget. We attended my church, which is Antioch Baptist Church, because I was always raised that no matter where you go, no matter where you travel, you have a church home. And again, you all preach my funeral. When I'm gone, I can be gone in peace. because you all gave me my flowers while I was alive. You really
Here's
gave me
what.
my flowers when I was alive.
We have a very wide listener viewership. So for those out there in the U.S. and other parts of the globe who will be listening to what you're saying and still want to come to St. Kitts and get married, what's your contact? Can you share some contact information for them?
It's the easiest thing in life, as far as I am concerned. There are many places that you can have the wedding. I personally love Spice Mill because I love the view of Nevis. And we have
From that beach.
with Roger and everything. Yeah, I love it a lot. I love it a lot. It's very easy. What we've done in the past is we have our couples come off about 9 in the morning. They go in, they get their documents. We take them then to the destination. We have our tour, our taxi driver, tour operator, whoever, bring the guests about an hour later. Wedding start about 11 o'clock. We use a local pastor. We use local musical entertainment. We use local bakers. They have the ceremony. They take the pictures on the beach. They dance. They eat their food. If they're coming off of the cruise ship, we've got them back by 3:30 at the very latest.
Okay.
Very
But I was
easy.
asking for your
Easy.
contact information. How do people contact you?
Well, I can be reached at BWONEALE, the number 1 at hotmail.com. I also have a link on my website, www.withthisringdwh.com, and there's a section that says Contact Us. But again, we work with the locals as well because you do have some wonderful decor people. You have brilliant musicians. I mean, I was blessed to have the All-Star Choir sing at my birthday. So it was a wonderful experience for us. But you have everything there. We did a wedding, and the couple loved John Legend's All of Me. And it was actually your daughter who recommended the young man, 16 years old. Sang it better than John Legend ever could. And I was instructed by my groom to go get him more money to pay him for the way he sang. And Mr. Melly, you couldn't ask for a sweeter pan player. I was saddened certainly by his death, as well as Pastor Alan Isaacs. He used to do all of my weddings for me on the beach. So you have a product in place. I hope in our prayers that you will expand that romance product, be it by way of cruise, be it by way of destination. We've had people who call and say, can you just set something up on the beach for me? It's just the two of us, or it's just our family. And those things can certainly be done. Again, you have a jewel, and I can't wait for you to polish that diamond and shine for the world to see, because you are truly, truly an amazing, amazing place, an amazing, one-of-a-kind place.
I'm familiar with your views on the Federation, your love for the people here, etc. But there are times when other persons needs to hear it. Because sometimes we go to the negative and make comparisons. Let me give an example. When the icon of the sea's first birth here, there were folks in Antigua who, were showing, they were actually hitting Gaston Brown. How come singers get this? How come we can't get that? Blah, 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 blah. And we were boasting, we can both, host the largest ship in the world. Sometime after, when we went into the off-season, Antigua hosted 6 cruise ships in a day. And here on St. Kitts, we started because the government, how come Antigua got 6 ships in a day and we can't get that? So you find, according to where you are, people see things from a different perspective. Antigua cannot host currently the largest ship in the world. It was a major accomplishment and a feather in the cap to boast about that. I was, yeah. Right? Now, Antigua hosted 6 one day, and St. Kitts started because the government, because in Antigua they host 6. But when we were able to host for the first time the birthing of the Icons of the Seas, people in Antigua were upset. So it's important to hear from a different perspective how St. Kitts is viewed, recommendations and how we can improve our tourism product, and to have a better appreciation for what we have, with the message in cherishing it, as the phrase you use, polishing it. It's a diamond, it's a jewel, we need to polish it. So your perspective is so very crucial, huh?
That's That's all you really need to do. Is it just needs polish. It really does, because if you're coming Icon of the Seas, you must understand those people pay very good money to be on that ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a very large ship with a water park, and there's so much to do on board, right?
Yep.
That they have to have a reason to want to come off. So they need the Victorious Farms. They need the fig. What is the place that you take the people to?
Fig tree, Palm Bay Fig tree.
Yeah. You and I have talked about the leprosy tour, the history there.
No. We don't have a leprosy tour.
Not a leprosy tour. You know what I'm saying? The history of the leprosy.
Yes. It was a leper asylum called the Lazaretto. But the history of the building, it preceded Brimstone Hill. Brimstone Hill is the younger sister of Charles Fort, which was founded by King Charles at the time. But what it served, the purpose it served, right? That tour has been incorporated in a venture for Sandy Point, which makes Sandy Point a destination. So Victoria Farm, which is something wellness farm, that is also part of that planned excursion. But hearing it from you from that perspective about the need to expand on what we have by polishing the tours, the excursions, etc., is very important. Because sometimes, say again,
You've got to be different.
Yep.
You can't be the same old ATV zip lining right around in a bus. I love the fact that there's a food tour, I believe, that one of the drivers has. I love seeing the party bus. That was a surprise to me the other day. I didn't know you all had a party bus.
Yeah, that goes back a few years.
Yeah, it's important to be different and to be unique, especially if you're coming up on being last on a cruise, because the money is gone. But if you can put it out there ahead of time, and people can say, well, I can't do that in Antigua, but I can do that in St. Kitts.
Let's explain that. When you say being last, let's explain that, because what you're referring to, sometimes the cruise ship on the itinerary, St. Kitts is the last stop on the cruise.
Yes.
So not we're last in the industry. Sometimes we are the last in terms of the ship's itinerary and the various destinations. There are times when we're the first stop, and we can tell the difference. People are happy to get off and move around, and you can they spend more. But when this is the last stop, they're toured out, they're spent out. There's one was around. So that's a valid point to make. So it's the last stop, and not the last in terms of the industry. I had to clarify that.
No, definitely not. But I think that the fact that you have the artisan market at the port is important, because anybody can buy a Chinese keychain or a Chinese magnet. But I think it's important that you offer your locals a chance. I was impressed that the Marriott allows the locals to come from 10 to 4 in a marketplace there.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're not buying just
You're talking about the Anima Market, the local craft vendor section down at Port Zante.
Yeah, it's important that is in place. So I think that when people come, they should become ready and willing to experience, willing to do something different, not necessarily having to be programmed. I survived water aerobics. I thought it was fabulous. I love the fact that the Marriott has beach chairs that have covers built in. You don't have to fight for an umbrella and so forth and so on. So you're doing so many things right. You really are doing so many things right. I think it's incumbent upon using the travel industry to get the word out as to what you do and to make agents knowledgeable as to what you do. And that it will enable them to help clients know what to expect and what to experience. You do have golf. People need to know that, because there are people who love golf. There are people who love yoga. I don't know if you've got pickleball yet, but you might want to.
We had about 2 weeks ago, Miss Amory. Dale Amory, she's the wife of the late, she's the widow of Mr. Ernest Amory, Reggie Amory, and she does a yoga class. She was here on Win FM speaking about a production she had, a presentation at Government House 2 Sundays ago. So there is yoga here. I'm not sure how far the market, her marketing is. It's really catered to locals, but of course there's a point to be made that that can be made, available for visitors also.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, local pastries. I love the man that makes the snow cones on Sunday in the parking lot. Just so very much to experience. And like I said, when I was choosing where I wanted, the birthday is not technically till December, but I know that we would get a much better rate during low season and it'd be less crowded. And fortunately, God was good and our weather was absolutely perfect. But I wanted them to come, and I was so proud they were willing to invest the money in coming to experience. Like I said, we worked out the budget sheet. I showed them about how much it would be every day for food and beverages and tours and so forth, and they were perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
So the only thing I would do differently, we need to probably get more clarity on what the transfer and transportation costs should be. We had a little few discussions about how that looked. But outside of that, I think the customer service, there was no panic. Oh, you're bringing all these people to my restaurant. They were very gracious and very thankful to have the guests. And the food was just amazing no matter where we went. Everyone said they didn't have a bad meal anywhere. So again,
What about the
first of all,
drinks?
Mhm.
What about the drinks down at Echo Park?
They were a little powerful, yes.
Did anyone have too many?
Drink your water and mind your business.
Okay, we're gonna pause for a station break before we sign off. But is there anyone you'd like to say hi, hello to before we close your segment? You have lots of friends here. Just blast it out there.
We just want to thank everyone for embracing us and embracing them the same way you embraced me and making them feel welcome the same way you made me feel. Personal friends, that would be Maxine, that would be Pastor Penny, Pastor Connor, Andrew Cleary, Neslyn, Roger. All of you, thank you for making it so very, very special for us. To all the restaurants, to Patsy's, Boozy's, to Spice Mill, to the Bistro, to Sweet and Savory, Pizza Boys, all of you, just making such an impression on these people and just making us feel so very, very welcome. And to you, the King, thank you for allowing us to declare the truth so that my guests could really enjoy and embrace the experience that only you can offer in St. Kitts.
No comment.
So to everyone from the airport to every Victoria, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Winnell, thank you for sharing with us. St. Kitts will be near and dear to me forever.
If you don't call
we'll
Carla name, you'll be in trouble.
Yes, I'm in trouble anyway.
If you don't mention Carla, you'll be in trouble.
I know we're going to resolve that issue shortly.
Okay.
But I thank her as well. Kevin, thank you for the juice on a moment's notice. Much appreciated. Thank you to St. Kitts Tourism Board. We appreciate the gift bags and the love you showed in the planning process. Denise Zember, thank her very much for standing by me as we made our way through, making sure these guests had a wonderful time and understood what St. Kitts had to offer. So again, I just am humbly grateful, and God has been very good to me. And I'm glad that my friends and family had an opportunity to see what I see and to love what I love. And better days are ahead. We look forward sincerely to what St. Kitts is becoming. And we'll look forward to celebrating again soon. I manage to make my way every couple of months. So in a couple of months, I will make my way, as I call it, home again.
Okay. You've heard it from the heart and the experience of Brenda O'Neill, whom I describe as a friend of the Federation. I want to thank you very much for that honest assessment of your experience here over the many years. Thanks for sharing it with us and for encouraging folks out there who are actually unaware of the gem that we have here, of what you can partake in. I call this my double slice of paradise. As I mentioned, actually on the other side of the divide, you're on Nevis, and I know you have a wonderful time there. So continue to have a blessed day. And until you get home, well, just travel safely, etc., etc. We'll now pause to give credit to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
What has you so happy?
My home internet just got upgraded, and I didn't even have to pay for it.
What? Which network you have?
Flow! Now I can get the fastest fiber internet in St. Kitts and Nevis for the lowest price.
Fastest internet for the lowest price? What's the catch?
No catch, my friend. 100 megabits per second for just $135 a month. With Flow, you truly get the best internet experience around. Switch to Flow for the fastest fiber internet at the lowest price. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Right near you. Rams the good
Insurance Company Limited, where you get more coverage for less.
Welcome back. It's just about 11:56, and we've had a discussion over for the first part of today's presentation with Ms. Brenda O'Neill, travel agent. She's also the owner of this ring destination, and been here several times. Came in with a whole entourage of visitors, some for the first time, and they had a wonderful time. So I thought I would have a shared experience and her perspective on St. Kitts as it relates to our tourism products and just a general feel of St. Kitts and our people. And for those who were able to listen, I think we would have learned a lot and have a better and greater appreciation for our Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis as a tourism destination, as a place to raise your family. We know it. A lot of us migrated because for various reasons, and every once in a while, a few come home to partake in the ceremonial, the cultural and the carnival, the music festival. But it's good to be out there and learn that other people would have come here and really, really appreciate what you call home. So that was for you, those for the potential travelers, those for those who may not be too happy with St. Kitts for one reason or the other. There's no place like home. I hope you really appreciate that presentation. Now, we've got about, 30 minutes up to the midday newscast. And there's something I wanted to present and go into further discussion with this morning. I don't know if time will present me to give the first presentation. But it's something I think that the Federation can learn from, and we'll be happy to engage in that particular discussion. If I find it, I'll play the first part of the presentation. See how far we get into that. Actually, the lines are open. I know we've had some issues, some challenges with reception out there. So many persons may not be able to listen at this moment. We're having some challenges. If you can and you want to make a contribution by way of phone call or WhatsApp, let's hear you. In the meantime, let's see where we can go with this as a teaser for the next topic I want to present on.
Of course, you need to get some sense. Listen to me, these things just get me really mad. Really mad. This idea, you young people, you need to make some of them fets empty. Let them set up and nobody show up. What is wrong with you all? What is wrong with you all? What is wrong with you all? You're from crushed to faded. To summer this. You don't know it's summer, you know it's summer already. I never see more craziness. Summer people used to go to the beach. Now you're going in a pasture with water spraying on you. What foolishness is that? Pack up your car and go to the beach. That's what people do in the summer. And have a good time, and you ain't have to pay nobody for that fete. That's a free fete God gave you. What is wrong with you young people? This country is being taken away from you while you are sitting there sleeping. The Jamaicans, the Guyanese, the Spanish, and nothing is wrong with them. I love them. They help us. We welcome them. But they are coming here and finding opportunities that you sitting down here saying don't exist. They are building houses while you are saying that there is no opportunities for you. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? The first thing you all want to do as soon as you leave school is buy a car. What is wrong with you, man? I see those Jamaican children come here and they walk. The Spanish children walk. And you say kids people, the first thing you want to do is buy a car. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And when you do that, the next thing you do, go and get a child and another child and another child. Poverty upon poverty. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Of course you need to get some sense. Listen Listen to me, these things just get me really mad. Really mad. Because we can do better. We can do better. But this covetous spirit that we have, and not acknowledging who we are, and you have to go this place to feel good. You are good already without it. It's a joke.
I got cut off to some extent. Let me see.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And when you do that, the next thing you do, go and get a child and another child and another child. Poverty upon poverty. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Of course you need to get some sense. Listen to me, these things just get me really mad. Really mad. Because we can do better. We can do better. But this covetous spirit that we have, and not acknowledging who we are, and you have to go this place to feel good. You are good already without it. This idea, you young people, you need to make some of them fets empty. Let them set up and nobody show up. What is wrong with you all? What is wrong with you all? What is wrong with you all? You're from crushed to faded. To summer this. You don't know it's summer, you know it's summer already. I never see more craziness. Summer people used to go to the beach. Now you're going in a pasture with water spraying on you. What foolishness is that? Pack up your car and go to the beach. That's what people do in the summer. And have a good time, and you don't have to pay nobody for that fete. That's a free fete God gave you. What is wrong with you young people? This country is being taken away from you while you are sitting there sleeping. The Jamaicans, the Guyanese, the Spanish, and nothing is wrong with them. I love them. They help us. We welcome them. But they are coming here and finding opportunities that you sitting down here saying don't exist. They are building houses while you are saying that there is no opportunities for you. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? The first thing you all want to do as soon as you leave school is buy a car. What is wrong with you, man? I see those Jamaican children come here and they walk. The Spanish children walk. And you say kids people, the first thing you want to do is buy a car. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And when you do that, the next thing you do, go and get a child and another child and another child. Poverty upon poverty. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Of course you need to get some sense. Listen to me, these things just get me really mad. Really mad. Because we can do better. We can do better. But this covetous spirit that we have, and not acknowledging who we are, and you have to go this place to feel good. You are good already without it.
Pastor Lincoln Connor posing a question to the youth of our nation. The question is, what is wrong with you? I'm grateful for persons like Pastor Connor who has that platform, who can reach out to our young people, well, just about everybody across the spectrum, but especially to young people to whom we have to entrust the future of our nation into their hands. And he's troubled to the point where he's asking the young people of the Federation to take better stock of their lives in terms of their development. Now, some years ago, it wasn't a study that I had to undertake. It was just obvious. Just obvious. And watching the young people, our students, heading to school, heading to college. And my observation was that within 10 to 15 years, most of the positions of authority in the corporate world, etc., would be governed by the females. It's proven. When you look around St. Kitts Nevis today, right? PS in this, director of that, executive, it's all females. Because the young men used to follow the young ladies up to the school gate or the college gate. And the young ladies would go into these halls of learning, secure the education, and then in a short space of time, they drop the boyfriends because they would have developed in terms of their education and their social outlook to the point where that lifestyle is not for me. But the young men, some of them on their little bicycles and their pants down by the ankles, following their girlfriends to school. And they turn back from the school gate and they will go inside, secure education. And today now, this is what we have. 2 seconds. Yes. I can't play after 1. They leave until 12:30. Okay, I'm waiting. Cool. Sorry about that. So, the result of that today, we find many of our young men who were the boyfriends of these young ladies. These ladies are now in possession of power to employ them, etc. And their egos won't be able to deal with that. And so Pastor Connor now is addressing the question, well, to both male and females in our federation. What is wrong with you? Your priorities, your lifestyle, you need to make an adjustment. He's demanding the fact or the perception that the young people are more concerned with going to fete after fete after fete because there are lots of excitement, inducement, you could all this thing. And you follow your friends, your company. You know, I listened to a young lady a couple of days ago. She was in my vehicle speaking to other person that she went to this particular fete in Friars Bay. How much she paid for it, for VIP sections, how much she paid and she prepared, and the drinks that she got was not enough. And I'm thinking, well, I can't afford that. And she was just very, very just cool and calm. Yes, I paid 200 this for that, and I paid that and that to go to a fete. Well, all inclusives you get, but she's complaining that the drinks she got was not up to expectation. And sometimes we have a little chit-chat around town about these fests that these young people go to. And we wonder, how do they afford it? Maybe they can. But Pastor Connor is speaking about the focus. The focus where they put in the energies, their monies. There's another clip that I listened to him, and I'm really, really in agreement with him. Okay? I'm almost out of time. I've got 11:59, but I really want to get into that aspect of it, where he speaks about people who support other people's families. Men who got paid, but before they go home to support their own family where their kids are watching each other because they're hungry, these men go to these places of entertainment, whatever you want to call them, and support other people's families and spend their money there, etc. But we are at the point where we have to pause for the WINNFM's Midday Newscast. On the other side, we will endeavor to get into this discussion. It's been a pleasure. See you on the other side.
I can always be myself.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Cariboury.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look, with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured. Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories.
CARICOM supports renewal of United Nations office mandate in Haiti. ECCB Monetary Council convenes 108th meeting in Anguilla. St. Lucia minister supports a new approach to hurricane shelters. Guyana Teachers Union and Ministry of Education there reach agreement on non-salary issues. Internationally, is Israel and Hezbollah edging closer to an all-out war?
Now the details.
The Caribbean Community, CARICOM, has expressed its support for the renewal of the mandate of the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, BINU. Her Excellency Dr. Mutris Williams, Permanent Representative of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United Nations and current chair of the CARICOM caucus in New York, delivered this address to the United Nations Security Council.
We view this as a positive signal that the Security Council remains committed to assisting the Haitian government and people in addressing the multidimensional challenges that they face and which impede their efforts at securing a better future. CARICOM acknowledges the important role that BINU has been playing in our sister member state and reaffirms its steadfast support to BINU in the implementation of its mandate.
Ambassador Williams highlighted the timing of the mandate renewal, noting its significance in continuing efforts towards good governance, peace, and security in Haiti. She called for Haitian stakeholders to collaborate with BINU and other partners to advance a Haitian-led, Haitian-owned political process aimed at holding free and fair legislative and presidential elections. This process should ensure women, youth, and civil society's full, equal, meaningful, and safe participation. Addressing the Security Council, Ambassador Williams appealed to all states to enhance their partnership with Haiti. She urged United Nations member states to comply with the provisions of the resolution, particularly those related to the arms embargo.
We underscore the prohibition on the supply, sale, or transfer of small arms, light weapons, and ammunitions to gangs and actors engaged in or supporting gang violence, criminal activities, or human rights abuses in Haiti, such as sexual and gender-based violence, as well as to take all appropriate steps to prevent their illicit trafficking and diversion. We cannot fuel instability in Haiti. while simultaneously attempt to build the the foundation for peace.
In her concluding remarks, she acknowledged the United Nations Security Council for its unanimous adoption of the resolution and reaffirmed CARICOM's commitment to supporting Haiti in overcoming its current challenges. Ambassador Williams' statement to the Security Council emphasized the importance of sustained international support for Haiti and the role of BINU in facilitating a path toward sustainable peace and stability. The 108th Eastern Caribbean Central Bank ECCB Monetary Council meeting will take place at the Aurora Anguilla Resort and Golf Club on Friday, July 19, 2024. ECCB Governor Timothy N.J. Antoine will present the report on monetary credit and financial conditions in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, ECCU. The meeting will begin with a ceremony marking the change of chairmanship of the ECCB Monetary Council. The Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, council member for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will pass the chairmanship to the Honorable Dr. Ellis Lorenzo Webster, council member for Anguilla. Governor Antoine's report will cover the stability of the Eastern Caribbean currency, the financial sector within the ECCU, and economic conditions both regionally and internationally. Essential agenda items include the report from the Technical Core Committee on Insurance and updates on legislative matters, such as proposed amendments to the Banking Act of 2015 and the legislative framework for the deposit insurance system. The Council will also review the operations of the Eastern Caribbean Asset Management Corporation, ECAMC, and the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation, ECPGGC. Following the meeting, the new Council Chairman, the Honorable Dr. Ellis Lorenzo Webster, will present the communique. The ECCB Monetary Council, the highest decision-making authority of the ECCB, consists of the 8 ministers of finance from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank member countries.
In regional news,
St. Lucia Minister supports a new approach to hurricane shelters, GBS St. Lucia reports.
Infrastructure Minister Stevenson King believes there is a need for a review of the island's emergency shelters. He spoke in response to public concerns raised during the recent passage of Hurricane Beryl about the current approved list of shelters. Members of the public expressed apprehension about the structural stability of some of the buildings on the approved list, as well as the timing of their availability. They are only opened after a storm and not before.
First, let me indicate that the shelters were assessed. The function and mandate of the Ministry of Infrastructure to assess shelters is to determine whether they are structurally sound. That is the responsibility we have. Whether it is structurally sound. It is left to the department, to NEMO rather, to determine whether the facilities are adequate. Because if you're going to set up a hurricane shelter, it means the shelter is one thing, but the facilities within there, do you have facilities? Are you equipped with sleeping facilities? Are you equipped with hygiene facilities? Do you have bathrooms? Do you have toilets? Do you have kitchen facilities? And hence, it is important now, as you mentioned this, for government to review what we call shelters. Because shelters in its raw sense may just be a shelter and not a place of habitation. And therefore we need to ask the question, what do we need in a shelter? In my own view, if persons are to run to a shelter, those individuals may not be equipped with all that is required to be able to house themselves comfortably.
The Infrastructure Minister strongly believes that the creation of civic centers would be an ideal solution for meeting the shelter needs during times of disasters. These centers could be efficiently repurposed into emergency shelters, making them a reliable and effective resource for providing assistance and protection to those affected by disasters.
I have always thought that what is required is a sort of multifunctional facility. So instead of a basic hall, and there's nothing else except maybe 1 or 2 washrooms, we need to probably look at something a lot more agile, a lot more flexible. So you can have what I call a civic center. For years I've been talking about building civic centers. So in there you have a meeting hall where you can keep a conference, a community meeting, you can have an event, etc., etc. And then the balance of it, you can have other facilities which really would qualify that civic center as an emergency center. And in that way, what you need to ensure is that, one, the structural design of that facility is good enough to withstand Category 5 hurricanes, etc., to make sure that the location is one that is conducive, that the network of accessibility is one that allows people to move from one part of their community to the other to get to there.
The infrastructure minister has also called for redesign of existing human resource development centers. For the DBS News World, I am St. Brompulis.
Guyana Teachers Union and Ministry of Education there reach agreement on non-salary issues. Guyana News Source has the details.
The Guyana Teachers Union and the Ministry of Education have agreed to a number of non-financial measures, paving the way for discussions on the critical issue of salary increases and other financial benefits for teachers in the public sector to move ahead. GTU's General Secretary Coretta MacDonald told News Source that the agreement was reached during the first round of negotiations, which took place last Thursday, following the end of the 75-day-long strike which rocked the education sector. The non-salary issues include duty-free concessions for some 300 teachers, the provision of 100 scholarships, hinterland benefits, conditions for reemployment, housing, and a number of welfare matters.
We at the GTU, as a matter of fact, the teachers across this country, they are dedicated, they are committed, and because of their dedication, commitment, and resilience, that's why we're still in this country. That's why we're still in the schools, because we love what we do. Outside of loving what we do, we still have to live. We have to eat. We have to wear. We have to go, go places of relaxation, which is not a whole lot. And so the GTU has, over the years, we've been championing the cause for free and fairness within the education sector. We've been championing the cause for just pay and equality. And that is the reason why we've been pushing for agreements upon agreements upon agreements.
As negotiations continue, the GTU General Secretary said she would not be able to divulge particulars of the agreement reached on the non-financial matters. However, she said the union is looking forward to next Thursday's meeting, when the sides are expected to begin to hammer out salary increases for teachers, along with a number of other financial matters. The GTU has proposed a 39.5% salary increase for teachers on scales 1 to 3 for this year, and an additional 30% for next year, and another 30% for 2026. Additionally, the union is pushing for other teachers within the public education sector, particularly those on scales 4 to 19, to receive a salary increase of 35% for this year, with an additional 30% for next year and 2026. The proposals by the GTU were put forward in a proposed memorandum of agreement submitted to the Ministry of Education covering the years 2024 to 2026. MacDonald said in arriving at these proposals, the GTU took a number of social and economic factors into consideration.
The first meeting was very cordial. We had our proposal, we spoke, we had our back and forth disagreements, and eventually we agreed to quite a lot of what was agreed on last Thursday.
The multi-year proposal also includes a number of additional financial measures, including a performance-based incentive of 2% per annum, an annual health risk allowance of $25,000, and monthly internet mobile data allowance of $10,000 to be paid to all teachers, among other benefits. The GTU General Secretary said the union hopes that with this decision to shelve the earlier multi-year proposal covering 2019 to 2023, the government will find favor with the new proposed agreement and act in the best interests of the nation's teachers.
We now bring you these international reports.
To the Middle East now, and as the war in Gaza grinds on, there are growing fears that another wider war may erupt with devastating consequences for the region and beyond. Israel and the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah have been trading fire across their shared border for the past 9 months. Since the current conflict began, 466 people have been killed in Lebanon, most of them fighters. In Israel, the death toll is 21 soldiers and 12 civilians. Our senior international correspondent, Orla Guerin, now reports from southern Lebanon.
They are here to keep the peace, but there's less and less of that.
This is Charlie 1, ready to move. Over. Charlie 2, roger.
We join UN peacekeepers patrolling Hezbollah heartland, already a battleground. We're heading for the Blue Line, Lebanon's unofficial border with Israel. If all-out war comes here, it could set the whole Middle East alight.
So where are we, Tom? So, Orla, you're here in the outskirts of the village called Yulun.
Tom Fox leads the Irish contingent.
Overall, it has been tense and unpredictable for the period of time we have been here. The farmers in the field, there are no longer. Crops have been destroyed as a result of bushfires resulting from the exchanges of fire.
How far are we now from the Blue Line?
From where you're currently standing, you're approximately 400 to 500 metres from the Blue Line.
And I presume the Israelis are watching us now?
Everyone's watching people in this sector of the world.
And Hezbollah's arsenal is eye-catching, as flaunted in this propaganda video. The Iranian-backed fighters have more arms than many countries, including missiles that can strike all over Israel. And Israel has been striking back. Most of the dead are fighters. Sally Sikaiki was not. The 25-year-old was a volunteer paramedic, killed in her own doorway. She was Hussein's only daughter. Could you tell me about Sally? Tell me about her. Oh.
Strike.
Yeah.
It's a strike.
Relatives go to check what's been hit.
No.
Do you hear this a lot?
Yes. Every day. Many times, every day.
This time, no airstrike, just Israeli warplanes breaking the sound barrier, a weapon of fear. But death often comes from the sky. Here, full military honours in Beirut for a senior Hezbollah commander killed in an Israeli airstrike. So far, this is a limited conflict, but if it escalates, it could draw in other Iranian-backed militant groups in Iraq and Yemen and embroil the US. This is a show of grief and of anger, but it's also a show of strength. For months now, Hezbollah has been burying fighters, but it has many more to take their place. And if there is an all-out war with Israel, Hezbollah will be a far more formidable enemy than Hamas. If there's a ceasefire in Gaza, Hezbollah says it will also cease fire. Its message: we don't want all-out war, but if it comes, we will fight to the death. Orla Guerin, BBC News, Lebanon.
Former rivals for the presidential nomination have been praising Donald Trump on the second night of the party convention. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former US Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley both used their speeches to give their full endorsement to Trump. The pair had run against the former president in a bid to become the Republican presidential candidate. Now, the four-day convention kicked off on Monday when Donald Trump picked J.D. Vance as his running mate in November's election. Well, Nikki Haley, who had previously described Mr. Trump as unhinged and not fit to be president again, walked out to some boos from the convention crowd. She opened her speech with an endorsement for him and called for party unity.
For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump. You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. take it from me, I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree. We agree on keeping America strong. We agree on keeping America safe. I'm here tonight because we have a country to save. And a unified Republican Party is essential for saving her.
Well, that was Nikki Haley speaking there. Let's speak to our chief presenter now, Katrina Perry, who's at the RNC in Milwaukee. Hi, Katrina. Thanks for joining us. Some big names in the last 24 hours, all essentially calling for that party unity.
Absolutely, and that's what conventions are all about. It's about putting out the big guns of your party, the greatest star-studded lineup that you can put out, and this night 2 of the Republican National Convention was just that. The atmosphere as excited and electric as it had been last night, particularly when the vice presidential nominee JD Vance arrived, and then just a few moments later former President Donald Trump, who is the Republican Party nominee, arrived as well. Lots of chanting, lots of singing. Of course, what's become the chant of this convention is fight, fight, fight. Those words that Donald Trump issued from the stage after that assassination attempt at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday. And the Republican Party, led from the former president himself, have spoken, as you say, about unity here for this week, that he's changed the speech he's going to deliver on Thursday to address that. And that was really embodied in what we saw from the stage here tonight, particularly in that speech from former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and from the current Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, both of whom just a few months ago were heavily critical of Donald Trump. Nikki Haley saying that chaos followed him everywhere. Ron DeSantis saying that he'd failed to get any good job done while he was president the first time around. And yet both of them here tonight addressing the crowd in front of the former president, who arrived early in order so he could hear their speeches, and appealing to their supporters to follow Donald Trump and giving their endorsements themselves as well.
Katrina, I was at the 2016 convention in Cleveland, and back then Donald Trump had a sense of sort of victory in the air in the convention centre. Describe the atmosphere.
It's very like 2016, actually, I have to say. Of course, in 2020, conventions didn't happen in the same way. We were in the midst of a global pandemic. What is different about 2016 this time is then there were never Trumpers here. Ted Cruz was booed from the stage then. He was applauded like a hero's welcome here tonight. And the Make America Great signs back in 2016 were in a minority. There were things people had brought in themselves. Here, they're for sale in the merchandise shop at the convention, and very much the Republican Party has become the party of Donald Trump. The MAGA movement is the Republican movement. There's a very jubilant and jovial atmosphere here. People do feel that they are going to win in November, but you do get that sense at conventions anyway, because it's a gathering of the real true believers, the party faithful, the people who volunteer their time, who door knock, who phone bank, who stuff envelopes, who go out in all kinds of weather to stump for their candidate. And it's somewhat of a reward getting to be a delegate and to come here and be here and celebrate the candidate and celebrate the ideals of the Republican Party and what it stands for. So anyone you talk to here, of course, will tell you that Donald Trump and JD Vance are going to win in November. However, that is also the way the polls are edging insofar as we can judge this far out from polling day. And as we know, a month is a long time in US politics. A day is a long time in US politics this cycle.
OK, Katrina, thanks for joining us. Katrina Perry there in Milwaukee at the Republican National Convention. Well, while Donald Trump has been making his mark, President Biden has been shoring up some support at the NAACP, which is the organisation that lobbies for black Americans in Las Vegas. His message was critical of his opponent, but he once again was forced to address the attempt to assassinate Mr. Trump and called for a ban on the type of weapon used to shoot him.
I'm truly honoured to be here. To be at this tense moment in this country. It is a tense moment. Just a few days after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, we're grateful he was not seriously injured. We continue to pray for him and his family. It's time for an important conversation in this country. Our politics has gotten too heated. I said in the Oval Office on Sunday night, as I made clear throughout my presidency, we all have a responsibility to lower the temperature and condemn violence in any form.
So that was President Biden there, and we can speak to our correspondent Helena Humphrey, who joins us from Washington. Helena, guns were a focus today at the convention. What's the latest on that investigation into that assassination attempt?
Well, there are two prongs here. There is the investigation into Thomas Crooks and his motive, and then also an investigation now which has been opened by President Biden into the US Secret Services, how they planned for this rally, how they responded to that assassination attempt. So on the first point, new details have been emerging about the moments leading up to that assassination attempt. Video footage showing Thomas Crooks on that building and their members of the public gesturing to law enforcement about 2 minutes before Thomas Crooks was able to open fire. And then police have been speaking to his friends, his family. They've wrapped up their investigation into his vehicle, searching his home as well, and now will continue to look into his digital footprint and to try and assess the motive, which they say they haven't been able to do at the moment. In terms of that investigation into the Secret Services, we know that the director of that will be giving congressional testimony on Capitol Hill on Monday. Kimberly Cheetle had previously said that she doesn't intend to resign over this, but accepts, she said, that this attack was unacceptable and instead wants to stay on in her position to learn from mistakes, to make sure that something like this can't come to pass again in the future. One other separate point to note, both the FBI and the Secret Services say, as well as the Department of Homeland Security, that there is the potential here for copycat attacks, for retaliatory attacks, and as such they have called on authorities, states, people organising rallies to be vigilant.
Yes, Helena, and as we go more into the political race, I'm sure those concerns will be heightened. There's also been an Iranian link to that attempt on Mr. Trump's life, hasn't there?
Yes, and it's important to note that authorities are saying that this is separate, this is not linked to what happened at the rally, but nevertheless, authorities had received, they say, information from a quote-unquote human source about the possibility for an assassination plot against Donald Trump coming from Iran. This is something that Tehran denies, but nevertheless, authorities say, and the Secret Services say, in light of this, they'd ramped up their protection of Donald Trump. Now, authorities say that they believe that this could have been potentially in retaliation for the assassination of Qasem Soleimani 4 years ago, the elite Quds commander of the Revolutionary Guard at a time when Donald Trump, of course, was in office. Again, pointing out that Iran has denied this, but also this points to these further questions that if indeed security was ramped up and protection was ramped up around Donald Trump in light of what was seen to be a threat of a plot for an assassination attempt, then how was it nevertheless that Thomas Crooks was able to gain that access that he did, which led, of course, to what we saw at that rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday, which led, of course, as you know as well, to the loss of one of the attendees, 2 other people who remain injured.
Imperial Beach is a Southern California community wedged between San Diego and Tijuana, and it's the kind of place where you'd like to stroll the pier, walk the sand, and surf the waves. But for the smell.
It smells here on the beach, it smells at my home. I live right across the street from the beach.
And the yellow warning signs.
It's crazy because I live right across the street from the beach, and I have a granddaughter who comes, but I'll bring her here, like where I sit, but I won't put her in the sand because obviously the water comes up and goes down, or play in the water.
The reek and the caution is because each day, millions of gallons of raw sewage originating in Mexico is gushing into the Pacific Ocean just south of here. Paloma Aguirre is the mayor of Imperial Beach.
We're living the biggest environmental crisis in the nation, in my opinion. We have been named, sadly, the most polluted beach in the entire United States.
50 million gallons a day of untreated wastewater looks like. It's kind of a sad story where this flow has been flowing like this for 2.5 years. That's why our beaches have been closed for over 900 days in Imperial Beach.
Chris Helmer is the Director of Environmental and Natural Resources for the City of Imperial Beach, and he's standing alongside the Tijuana River. A mix of treated and untreated wastewater flows into this river from an overburdened and aging treatment plant on the American side of the U.S.-Mexico border. The International Wastewater Treatment Plant was built in 1997 to treat sewage from the city of Tijuana. It belongs to the International Boundary and Water Commission, a creation of U.S.-Mexican treaty agreements. Morgan Rogers gave Reuters a tour of the facility where he said the plant's capacity was strained until it failed.
Back in March of last year, all 5 of our primary sedimentation tanks were out of service. So we've been out of compliance with our permit for a while.
When Reuters visited, only one of the plant's 5 primary tanks, each with nearly the capacity of an Olympic swimming pool, was working properly.
See some flow coming through here, but so we're making some good progress. We need at least 3 of these tanks online to properly treat the wastewater. So we're expecting that we'll be in compliance again in the August timeframe.
Rogers said a $30 million upgrade will help bring the plant back to compliance, and he said the plant is also about to undergo a $600 million expansion to double capacity, of which $400 million has been budgeted. But this struggling treatment plant is only one source of the raw sewage spoiling local beaches. About 6 miles south of the border, a tunnel beneath the coastal highway releases gushing wastewater into the Pacific. It is outflow from San Antonio de los Buenos, Tijuana's broken-down sewage treatment plant. Mexico says a new $33 million plant under construction is scheduled to come online by September 30th. The total amount of sewage flowing into the ocean is a matter of dispute, but its impact is clear.
While Mexico is not officially admitting that they're dumping this amount of water, it doesn't take much deduction to be able to figure out that this is actually sewage. You can see, you can smell it, you can visually inspect it as it's flowing into the river valley south of the border, which we have done.
We've known how to treat sewage for over 100 years. We just need to have the political will and the money to invest in it to treat it properly. Because we should not, absolutely not have people living next to a river of raw sewage and toxic chemicals. It's insane.
Philip Musegas is the executive director of San Diego Coastkeeper, an environmental organization.
And that has huge ecologic environmental impacts, has enormous public health impacts that we're just learning more about, and it also has ecological impacts to the marine environment in the Pacific Ocean, to the environment here in the Tijuana River estuary, which is a National Wildlife Refuge. It's a globally recognized tidal wetland. It's one of the few remaining tidal estuaries on the west coast of the U.S., but it's being slowly destroyed and contaminated by this toxic flow of pollution.
You were listening to the Midday News on WINNFM 98.9. The headlines:
CARICOM supports renewal of United Nations office mandate in Haiti. ECCB Monetary Council convenes 108th meeting in Anguilla. St. Lucia minister supports a new approach to hurricane shelters. Guyana Teachers Union and Ministry of Education there reach agreement on non-salary issues. Internationally, is Israel and Hezbollah edging closer to an all-out war?
Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, and Cariboury.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com. When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Community, we lived as a family. That is how it used to be in the good old days. In making comparisons between now and then, it is always mentioned how we raised our children. 'Twas good morning or evening to everyone that they meet, or they could be disciplined by anyone on the streets. We didn't use gun violence to settle our difference in the good old days of pound, shilling, and pence. The good old days, the good old days, we so fondly speak of. Though they left us much to yearn, and we long for their return. As we know, time marches on in so many ways, advancing in technology and medical science, education, nutrition, and human development. In facing reality, we can't have it both ways. So what would you trade to go back to the good old days? Emerging generation had no appreciation of what was the norm in the good old days. On a meager salary, we would make ends meet. Children went to school daily with no shoes on their feet. We cooked on 3 firestones or the coal pot. Any food left over, next morning we'd heat up. Children used to sweep the yard and take the animals out to graze, then get to school on time in the good old days. The good old days, the good old days, we so fondly speak of. Sending letters by the mail would take 2 weeks without fail. Now we have the internet, instant messaging by text. We waited on newspapers for weekly reviews. Now we have the computers with constant breaking news. The fact is we must agree, we can't have it both ways. So what would you trade to go back to the good old days? spinning tops, coconut branch, cricket bats, memories that takes us back to the good old days. You wash your feet and get inside by 6 o'clock. Then by the home, sweet home lamp, do your homework. Head to toe or head to head was 5 on the grass bed. But if you wet your bed, you slept on the floor instead. They would feed you soursop stems to stop the pissing problem. Remedies long forgotten. The good old days, the good old days. We so fondly speak of hanging corn pork out to dry, keeping one eye on the sky. God forbid the pork got wet, for it would have chapped my gut. Now we have refrigeration, microwave and ting. The scrubbing board replaced by the washing machine. I know it's a fantasy, but we can't have it both ways. So what would you trade to go back to the good old days? Apart from raising the family, everybody would agree women had no authority in the good old days. In every way, it was clearly a man's world. But not today, you find women in control as heads of corporations and leaders of government. If I may mention, it was no easy achievement. There was no gender equity. We had to fight for equality. So I go back to how things used to be. The good old days, the good old days. We so fondly speak of. Serves to let the children know what we went through long ago. It's a documentary of our cherished history. We are renowned for embracing our culture, yet we've never crowned a Kaiso queen for culture rama. Not to forsake our past, but to compare and contrast. The good old days was never meant to last.
Reflections on the good old days, and you're listening from Empress Lyrics. First airing of her second song for the upcoming Culturama Calypso competition. And we go straight to the phone lines. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices. Good day, caller. You're live on Voices.
Hi, the King. Good afternoon.
Blessed. How are you doing, sir?
I'm giving thanks for life. And yourself?
Count the blessings first, so I'm way ahead.
Can I have permission to speak?
Most definitely. You're the first caller. Well, second caller of the day, so go right ahead.
How timely is that song?
It's very, very current, and it speaks to what's happening. I was playing a clip from Pastor Connor shortly, trying to address the youth today and the mindset, and people make comparison with the good old days, how kids behave as to now. So it's very, very relevant.
I did heard you made a comment on a previous Voices program about the potential potential historical Calypso Queen for Culturama, and that song is befitting in so many ways because apart from the good old days, she's bringing back that where our women really played a pivotal role.
Definitely, in family.
Housekeeping and the like, but they played a pivotal role in other aspects of our lives, which is worthy of recognition, worthy of re-establishment, of so that we can have more of our a balance in who we are as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, the women are responsible for 8 billion people on the earth today. So
Yep.
what else can't they contribute to? I digress a little bit because I want to go on a topic that I want to follow up from this morning Island Tea program. It was from a comment, and I wish to say good afternoon, Mrs. Henry. And Jamso was in the studio behind the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's listening. The King,
Sir.
you is one of my close circle in terms of what my mind, what I have, my opinions. I share them far and wide.
You do.
And you is a part of that.
You do. Thank you.
And I said something, and it's eminent to what has the tendency to spiral out of control. And whether I endorse or not, someone will say silence is golden. Whether I endorse or not, or I say things that might be endorseful of a matter, that's my prerogative. And so I made no bones about that aspect of it. I want to refer to what is happening in Kenya and where it all emanated, because government is continuous. And when it comes to a new administration, president might change hands, but a lot of their programs might still be intact. Some of them might be riddled with corruption and the likes and so forth. The president of Kenya, President William Ruto, yes, he inherited that administration, and it is only when President Ruto has a sit down with some finance, some NGO, African NGO. It was a big meeting, and he had this man by his name was Ibrahim. He was, I think, he was from the Sudan, a wealthy man, a businessman, and he was like the interviewer. Then when he asked President Ruto about, in the diplomatic circles, going to other countries and, all things diplomatic, it came up as just, it was recent when the African leaders attended Queen Elizabeth II funeral, and the type of treatment, it's only with the exception of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, who was given her own private transportation. The other 53 leaders, how many of them attended? They was bussed into a shuttle, like a shuttle bus, you know what I mean? Whereas, like the president of France and all of
the heads of states,
president dignitaries,
yep,
they got their own little personal limousine and stuff like that. So that was looked at like, wow, African leaders become school children again in the school bus, and it was distasteful. Not only that, every time the summits come, be it the China summit, the Russia summit, the EU summit, the American summit, all of the heads of state. So President Ruto say, why don't the 5 territory send a representative?
One emissary.
The 5, the African region.
Send one emissary. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, and that was a brilliant idea. Not only that, President Ruto went on to say, why are we trading in the U.S. currency? We have a currency, let us trade across border with our own self. The West didn't like that. And also the East, I might add, did not like that.
Remember
so
Gaddafi?
You know what they did on the diplomatic circles? They started calling President Ruto in some subtle way.
Private meetings, yeah. But look at that, Gaddafi.
And they keep in a conversation, and the bottom line of their conversation was like, oh, you owe us. You owe us. Be it IMF or World Bank or China or Russia. They call the man. Remind him that he owe. And when is he going to pay? What the president has was to do now is try to raise taxes and blah, blah, blah. That's not going to go well with the youth, the unemployed youth, and all of that. That's the way it started. No one is going to tell me that they have a playbook, and that is how they deal with our people. Kenya is one of those up-and-up countries. There was a stable economy. They were very innovative and everything. And these guys decided, hey, if we can get Kenya to where Haiti is, so be it. So they started to hatch their plan. No one is going to fool me. I've been born in 1960. I have seen it over and over and over. Be it assassination of our leaders and so. No one is going to fool me today.
It's by design.
Day and age. You understand, the King?
It's to isolate.
That is the bottom line. That is the bottom line. What else emanated from there is a conversation we can have on a sideline. Let us deal with the matters as the matters are to deal with. Let us eradicate the thing from the root. So the youth them started to realize now that we are trying to get rid of a president He may not be perfect, but the president may not be the problem. We're dealing with these NGOs group that is instigating all these things on the continent to create instability. So I said to Mrs. Henry, if you're going to read one aspect, read the other aspect and come between the middle. Come up with your own conclusion. Because these guys going to always try these things on us to destabilize our economy.
It worked in the past. When they can't do that, they give you a Gaddafi.
Yeah, and more. The list goes on. Patrick Lumumba.
It was the first.
Magafuli. The list goes on. The list goes on, the king. It's an endless list. And so I said no, and I started to post. I started to do my essays and trying to reach out people's mind to tell them it's a bigger picture. Don't let it fly under the radar. The picture is bigger. And if you're not going to approach it like that, you might as well shut up. You know?
Well, what they do, they accept.
From the time President Ruto said that, they attacked him. And they instigate the youth them in their subtle way to attack their own leader. He's not a perfect man, but we appreciate what he said because it's rightly so. I am not siding with the East nor the West. All of them, they start at the Berlin Conference in 1884, 1885.
Carved up on soul of Africa.
And Russia and all of them. No exemption for me, the king.
But you're right. You're right.
Huh?
You are right.
Thank you, the king.
The problem is the lack of interest and awareness of our people. The lack of interest and awareness showed by our people.
Whatever emanates. We could look at it as this one, the minute matter. It is what President William Ruto said. Why are we going to these summits, 54 of us like little children? Why are we trading with the US dollar when we could trade across border with our own kind? We are innovative to do it. And the youth, them, the population, they have no cell phone, no big cell phone like you and I in the West out here. But they utilize the analog phone, the dumb phone, what we call, what we elevate from, and they trading and they do the transaction. And small business persons did that. And it was very innovative to see Kenya did that.
They got to message it out.
And they developed that as a means of trading and transaction and paying, you know what I mean? And it was a country to emulate until President Ruto said what he said, and they got on the phones and they called him. And they say, you or us. But he should, Eli, always say something. If our president, if our leaders should be honest with us, we will deal with the matter. You deal with your diplomacy and let us deal with them. Tell us, inform us when they are threatening you, when they are bullying on you, and we will deal with them. The populace will deal with them.
Okay.
And tell them hands off. But we cannot side with them and want to overthrow our leaders because they're not perfect, and then we're going to call them puppets and all sort of thing. Let us pray for them and wish them well.
So the thing is to...
This is coming from a leader person's perspective.
The thing is to keep in touch with the people.
Listen to the voice of Kwame and Nkrumah, those voices. Thanks for listening, the King.
Well, thank you very much for that contribution. It takes us away from what we were discussing, but of course it's an international issue. It reflects on one of the challenges of our people. The lack of awareness, the lack of interest shown in what's happening in the continent, because we were trained to distance ourselves from such matters. We are quick to accept the narrative from the US and Europe, the European narrative as to what's happening over there, and then we, of course, say, oh yeah, well, it's Africa and all the corruption, but their pressures and mechanisms against the people. We're taking this call, but they call 11 Voices.
Yes, I'm good there. I would like to touch on something, and I only decided to touch on it because you was playing a clip from a well-known pastor,
Pastor Connor, yes.
Or Pastor Connor, and this is the one who owned the church right down there by Lime Q to the top.
I don't know if he owns it, but that's the location.
Right. The other day, they had a funeral for a very popular personal pastor, a football coach.
Yes.
And I was listening the ceremony or the funeral thing, right? And at the end, coming to the end or somewhere along the line, this pastor decided to take an offering. And for many, many years, every time they have a funeral, the pastors of that church always seem fit to take some kind of offering.
So maybe the custom.
Sorry?
It seems to be the custom.
Yeah, I always condemned it. No, I remember particularly that I think the Anglican or Moravian had some roof damages. And the pastor noted that this offering taken would be to assist with the repairs of the roof. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't really approve it, but at least he said that. This pastor, Connor, has built this big church. And at one time, when I remember there was he was on radio, and he condemned Hosford because either they didn't extend their building material loans to him or something. He came on the radio and condemned it. And I said, this is a man of God. What happened to faith? What happened to trusting by faith and depend on God to supply your needs and all those things, because you have to live example by faith.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there was a friend of mine whose husband was being buried, and she decided to host it at the Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
And they distinctivly asked her if they can take an offering, and she said, no, please don't. And they didn't do it. And I asked her, how much were the monies for you to host the place or to get the place? And she said they charged her $1,500, which is not a problem for me, right? But the problem is, if they had charged this family to bury this football coach recently, charged money, and still wanted to take an offering, and the pastor had the audacity, because I think when he said we're going to take an offering, there was some disgruntledness in the crowd, right? By murmurs or something, and he had the boldness to come on and say, wait, we're going to take this offering. I don't want this and I don't want that, and he also instructed the ushers to go outside and take an offering from, because there are more.
From those under the tents.
And I said, the audacity and the boldness of this pastor turned me off. And I said, this man is not no man of faith. And I concluded that if this is a man of God, he gone way off course. Way off course. Because why are you using opportunities like this to... So I said to people, when you go to funerals now, leave your wallets in your vehicle.
I walk with mine. I walk with some money to put in the plate, because sometimes people don't want the embarrassment of the plate is passing and you don't want to make a contribution. So I walk irregardless. So I understand the point you're making. But go ahead.
But listen, what I'm saying is that is not a problem, The problem is, why are you doing it when people are coming to show their respect to the persons, to the family, to the friends? Why are you doing it then? What happened to you? If the pastor wants to collect money, go out there, and they need to start doing this again. Start doing evangelism tents, because so much things happening in St. Kitts, and when you're in your 4 doors, go out there into the public, win people, build them up, and let them be the ones to support the work of God. I just strictly condemn it. And I said, I only remembered when you was playing this clip with him, and I hear you mention the name, and I know that this name is synonymous with this particular church, but I couldn't remember. It's Carnegie, is not Lincoln. And I have something else to say, but I will do it another time. Thank you so much for listening.
Well, thank you for your contribution, and thank you for making the call to WINNFM. We would love to hear from what our people are thinking out there on the various topics. Now, as it relates to people going to funerals, there's a culture that we've been more or less inculcated into. When you go to church on Sunday morning, you expect when they pass the offering plate, it's now a basket. In some churches, they have these big baskets, and they get filled, and they don't want any coin. They want paper money. So I walk with my little ching-ching, and I put in. I raised in the church. So whatever the situation is, I make my contribution. Okay, let's go back to the phone lines now, and then we continue that. Good day, caller, live on Voices.
Socrates, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. I haven't heard of a voice in a while, so happy to hear from you.
Okay, well, greetings in Jesus' name, the only Savior of his elect, his chosen sinners.
Amen.
Who saved them from their sins and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity, Jesus is.
Amen.
Now, first of all, yes, amen, amen, and amen.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to say, concerning the Kenya issue, and I think we need to learn from it. The president tried to increase the taxes. The people disagreed and they protest against it. And he relented. He did not increase the taxes. And the people felt that they gained a victory when actually they did more harm to themselves. And the reason why I said that is this. The people, they foolishly protested against it. But the thing is, you cannot, you see, when we don't do things the biblical way, we always go wrong, and in the end it always is deadly toward us all. When we don't do things the biblical way.
I thought I would hear you say that the government had the right to be collecting taxes. So because that was what I thought you were saying, that they were right to protest because government had no right to increase taxes. But you're saying that they actually shot themselves in the foot because they forced the government to back down. So let's hear your perspective.
They did. And the reason why is this, and a lot of it ain't just for Kenya, but it is a principle for us all to learn from. You cannot have government demanding of government for it to do this, for it to do that, for it to provide this, for it to provide that, for it to give this, for it to give that, for it to regulate this, for it to regulate that, and so on, and expect it's going to be all free. And don't bother with the politicians with the foolishness during election time when they're campaigning to say, oh, you're getting free this and you're getting free that from the government. The government give no one a free lunch. No one. It's just election campaigning gimmick. But they give you free this and free that.
Pork barrel politics.
That's a way to make you feel good. To elect them. But everything the government does, anywhere in this world a government does, it is in the end at the expense of the taxpayer. The government have to find the money to pay for all that it does, all that it provides, all that it gives, all that it regulates, all that it builds, repairs, you name it all. Even if the government just spit on the ground, trust me, you have to pay for that.
So you're against the people protesting the increase in taxation? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Because if you're going to demand all sorts of things of the government, then the government has to find the money to pay for all these sorts of things you're demanding of the government.
Okay, so now I see where you're coming from.
So it's like I say, it's not free. So go and protest. Go and protest for the government to get the extra money to pay for all this stuff that you are demanding of the government. How the government going to get the money?
We had an example like that here years ago, you know.
Yes, true.
You know what I'm talking about? During Dr. Denzel Douglas' second term, there was a big thing down at the Fairview Inn. And in addressing the crowd, he said to them, comrades, my financial advisors said that there is no money there to pay the goat water. And I told them, wherever they get it from, pay it. And the people went up, yay!
I remember, yes, I remember that.
Right?
Now, yes.
What happened next year?
I remember, yes.
There was an increase in water and electricity rates. People started to complain. And then he ended up telling them that when he saw the light bill they have to pay and the amount of money, he felt like crying and they must demonstrate against it. But he sought to appease them by saying that my financial advisors, they told him there was no money in the coffers to pay the thing. And he said, but I told them, wherever they get it from, they must pay.
The double salary?
Yeah, they go to water double salary. No, it was a double salary. They go to water back then.
Oh, I thought it was double salary.
It could have been. I may be mistaken, but it was that he was.
Yeah, I think double salary. When he said he tell them to pay it.
Wherever they find it from, pay it. So people celebrated, and then next year there was increases in electricity and the water rates because, as he said, wherever you find it from, pay it.
I think that was double salary, and I think so.
Could very well be.
If I remember clearly.
Could very well be.
But yeah, right. So So this is a thing we got to learn. Because no, you know what, the Kenya government, now they will learn from increasing taxes. Guess what? They still have to find the money, you know.
To pay the
They
obligations?
still have to find the money.
By the IMF?
To pay for all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? The other options left now, which is even worse than increasing the taxes.
Pass it on.
One of the option is engage with people of irreputable background. 2, decrease the value of the money by printing more money. And that's what a lot of government does. Instead, they increase the taxes as they are to pay for the expenses. They print more money to pay the
value the currency.
But it devalue the currency.
Yeah, but there's the other option.
Inflation.
Where the other option where people like China steps in, assumes your debts, but then they want to own your ports.
That's another thing too, because in the end they're gonna end up owning it because you can't pay.
They can't service the debt. They own your ports.
Yeah.
So they control you because they control what comes and goes. Mm-hmm.
Right. So these alternatives are worse than the government increasing the taxes to pay for the expenses, and increasing taxes is going to mash up your economy.
Well,
but
sometimes you're between a rock and a hard place.
Right. So that is why I say, when we do things contrary to the Bible, we always end up in a deadly situation. The Bible lays out the function and duties and obligations of the government, which is very few.
Mm-hmm.
And we ignore it and disobey the Bible to our detriment, to our destruction, because when we got the government doing everything, it's like I tell the people, it is not free.
Okay.
Sooner or later, our government going to have to raise taxes, you know? And they're going to have to raise them a lot. They're going to have to. They cannot escape it. You know, one time, I remember during the Douglas government.
Okay, try to wrap it up because I have the calls on the line. I get a couple minutes.
I'll try to say it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
One time during the Douglas government, near
administration,
when they were campaigning, and they were saying they're going to do this and they're going to do that and they're going to do this and do that. I called in and I asked the Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas, well, how are you going to pay for these things? How are you going to pay for all these things that you're promising to do and give to the people and provide for the people and so on and so on?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, I'm going to make the method of picking up the taxes more effective.
Okay.
Okay? So you got to make the method of picking up the taxes
more effective. All right.
But you know what? After he got reelected, guess what? Not too long after that, he introduced
IMF,
increase in water, increase in electricity, and VAT.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. He was instructed by the IMF to apply the VAT.
Yes.
17%.
Yeah, when I asked him the question, we didn't have no VAT at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But he put it on to collect the money to pay for all that he promised to do and give and that sort of stuff. So he went far beyond making the method of collection effective. He actually added taxes and increased taxes. And
okay.
This is something we have to learn. Government sooner or later have to increase taxes to pay bills. And we have to fund and find the money for government expenses.
That is correct.
All of them. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. When people like so much freeness, they think it's free, but nothing is free. We have the next call out, Trent. Okay, so the previous caller spoke about the going to a particular funeral, and then the pastor then decided to pick up a collection. Now, I know normally, especially if you're not a member of a particular church, you're charged by the pastor or the minister for officiating at the funeral. So you pay that. So I would think the charge enough to cover not only their payment, but the church. So one would ask, well, why are you picking up a collection at my uncle's funeral? That money is supposed to be Because I paid for the venue, I paid your salary. Why are you picking up a collection? I've heard that thing voiced, but some people just go along. I'm going to go along when they go to church. They're coming around with the tray of the basket. Socrates contribute. And I don't, but I do accept the point that the previous caller made. And there are folks with very strong opinions on that. You go to church in the morning, you're a member of the church, congregation or not, the pastor on the plate, you make a contribution, you go in the evening, the pastor on again, God work must be done. I do appreciate the programs that the very same pastor alluded to has implemented in the church in terms of young persons, helping them to choose a different pathway in life. Programs that's very uplifting. That costs also. I appreciate that. So I won't just simplify it while he's just preaching, people coming in, because the previous caller spoke about the church need to go out on the streets like in the days of the old-time revival, etc., etc., etc. I think to some extent some churches do that. Sometimes the no ones who are trying to make inroads or to create a platform, you'll find them up there. The more established churches do not do that. You won't find the Anglican Church or the Roman Catholic Church members going out there on the street corners. You'll find these sideway church, as we refer to them, doing that to build a membership. One appreciates that based on the religion or whatever it is. We are supposed to be a Christian society, thinking Christian. And when you say I'm a Christian, people are, you're a Christian or not? Anyway, we back to the phone lines. Go to call you live on Voices.
Yes, Socrates, just to make another point, right?
Yes,
Most of the times when these monies are collected from these funerals, nothing is given to the family of the deceased one. There's nothing, from my understanding. Even if half of the money was to be given to the family,
it would help.
I could accept it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be wonderful. But none of that is being done. The money is held for the church totally. And the main reason that I've come to conclude is that most of the times when you have these funerals, you have people that comes to the church that normally wouldn't come. And most of the time, it is filled out to capacity. With
non-members. They're there to support the family.
Right.
So your point is taken. That should be given to the family because at that point in time, they are mainly owing. They are on credit for the casket and all the different services. They have to pay for that. So your point is well taken.
Yes. So, but most of the time, the money is not distributed to the family. It's held for the church purposes. And the other thing I'd like to say before I go is that I think the church may have some outreach things that they're doing. I'm not sure. But, if the church was even saying, well, we're going to use this offering to facilitate our outreach ministry, or we're going to support this building we have here that we host the homeless or we feed the poor. But they don't even say that. They just say, we now take an offering and that's it, Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to pause for a station break. But let me just add before we go, I've heard the various pastors speak about the very, very high electricity bill that they have to provide to keep the church going. So we pause now to give credit to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Here are your husband's Value Mart IGA specials. Running July 11th to July 24th. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Barbecue Sauces, $7.99. Dunkin' Heinz Cake Mix, just $5.99. Philadelphia Cream Cheese Spreads, $13.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $10.99. Buyer's Ice Cream, just $22.99. Dawn Dish Detergent, $12.99. And now our very low weekly value deals. Essential Everyday Pasta, $4.99. Essential Everyday Pasta Sauce, $9.99. Most Honey Bunches of Oats, $12.99. La Yogurt, $3.39. Equaline Hydrogen Peroxide, $6.99. Equaline Mouthwash, $10.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart, dale en Spanish. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Portsmouth's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Portsmouth Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less with our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
We're back with the, what time is it, by the way? It's actually 60 minutes down past the 1 o'clock hour. So we're coming down to the close of play today of today's presentation of voices. So yes, we had a call who spoke about his concerns, not really concerns, but what bothered him about the collection being collected at the funeral of Dexter held last week, and the pastor's attitude, the way he went about it. But yes, as I said, some people are very accepting. Some people, just, when it comes to the church, they give. They are going to tax haven because of the work that they do. I mentioned just before the break, I did hear Mr. Connor speak about the very high electricity bill that they have to service. And he did mention that during one of the collection, thing there. And you can tell, because even from a security standpoint, you have to have these lights and all these various features, because it becomes a safety feature at times. We've heard about many churches who would have been broken into, and their sound system are gone. The sound system, they have some engineers, so it's costly. And the membership don't really mind per se, but as you're saying, many of the folks who attend these churches are doing funeral times and are members of the church. They're there to support the family. And because you would have paid the pastor and the churches for their service, once the churches, remember the choir, they paid for their services, you shouldn't put out a collection plate. This is based on the views of one of our callers, and one appreciates that. All right? As it relates to what Gregory was speaking, let me know if we have a call, okay? About the protests in Africa, in Kenya to be precise, but the youth protested the potential increase in taxation. As far as the William Ruto was saying, the president, he was in need to get that tax to pay off the debt. The population felt that it was a burdensome tax, they couldn't afford it, and they protested, and he acquiesced to the pressure and didn't collect the tax. But as Jeffrey says, the monies have to be paid. It has to be found someplace. So this is the challenge that we face during these situations. 2 seconds. Yeah. Okay, still like. I'm going to come and finish. Wait for me. Yes, that was a call from some guests that were to be here, but they had a delay. These are some young athletes who would have come in from Anguilla. They will be taking part in the track and field event on Sunday on Nevis. And the intent was to be here in the studio to speak about their experience as young athletes, their achievements, what their hopes are in terms of competing in Nevis on Sunday. So we have to give them our support. We have elements of our society that's young people that are definitely positively inclined. We have to support them as best we can when they show that promise and encourage them into taking on such activities. We have others who are challenged socially, economically, and we need to reach out to them, because those are the ones that we cannot afford to have them fall by the wayside. they become a burden on society. Any way you look at it, right? We need every citizen to be productive. That's not possible, but as many as we can get folks who are making contributions. Pastor Conn referred to the fact that we have, I said non-nationals, I don't like the phrase aliens. And a number of nationalities were listed. People who come here and find employment, while young local persons, maybe not even young, can't find work. Sometimes employers exploit this because they can pay the folks from other islands less and get away with it, while qualified tradesmen here refuses to work for that. That's also part of the equation. So it's not that people here don't want to work, they want to be respected for the service that they render. Let's take a call. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices. Good day, caller, you're live on Voices.
Hey, good afternoon.
So long, no, how does the song go? So long me ain't see you, gonna give me a wine now. How are you doing?
You won't wait until I pass to get a wine.
Oh, darling, how are you doing? You good?
Giving God thanks when God is good.
Most beautifully.
I want to first begin by sending condolences to the Wilson family.
Which one?
No, she was the taxi driver to, Ben Wilson's wife.
Yeah, I don't know the Wilson stand the point. I'm not aware of the person, so
No,
that's why.
from across Thompson Street, from Halburn, used to do trucking.
Okay.
When you come from CFBC and you come across the road here,
Okay.
they mentioned that she was a taxi driver.
Oh, yes, I know who you're referring to, but I haven't heard the news.
Oh, I think the funeral is when? Tomorrow?
In here or in the U.S.?
St. Kitts. The service will be down at Rehoboth.
If it's the person I have in mind, she would be the mother-in-law of that Jamster.
GQ.
GQ. Yes,
And one of her daughter is a doctor, medical doctor that you come on and said, or used to come on.
Another lady. I know she went to the U.S. Until now, I haven't heard anything about that. She returned and she passed.
Yes. Well, sending condolences to her son Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He's the driver of our bus, the bus for the association.
Yeah, I know him. I know him very well.
Right, so condolences to him and to our family. I thought Clinton Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So to all from Sylvine and the members of the association of persons with disability.
I know the son, the driver. I know many years. I know the other kids, etc.
Yes, again, Ben, his father was Ruben.
She had a nickname. It's called Bonanza Queen because she was very aggressive and assertive in her application of a trade.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, man. So anyway, now my good friend Africa and you. All I am saying, we must hold our people responsible. It is easy to refer to the historical facts. There is no denying the facts, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, there's a greater responsibility on our people to do what is right.
Well, how are we coming to it?
Eh?
How are we coming to this?
You are there being with my good friend, you know?
Well, he laid out a case, which I understood, and I took the other call from Gregory, and I understand. I gave him A for the point, but I don't know how I get into it.
Oh, well, you are the moderator, so all that I'm saying, what I'm saying, you have, and Gregory must hold the corner. You want lower taxes and don't impose no taxes, then the man impose and the man right. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We must be moderate. Say what we mean.
Okay.
Now, I know all the history of the African and the European story. And I think for far too long, sometimes we use it as an excuse. It is a fact, it can't change. We must now we rule ourselves, adapt ourselves accordingly. That's what I'm saying, you know. If you have a situation where they overextend themselves in debt, and that's for our leaders, it isn't everybody who offer you a loan you go for. You hear them on the radio, you can borrow something. I heard one about how you could borrow for the
Music festival?
your costume.
Yeah,
And
music
you pay
festival.
$340 a month a week.
That's ridiculous. But your point is
You
taken.
understand?
Mhm.
Now, when you go and put yourself into that, you're going to talk about the Europeans that enslave us. I don't buy those kind of reasoning. Facts are facts. Nobody could change the history. But we have been liberated long enough now to begin to make better decisions. So what has happened in Kenya? I guess you know. They have a lot of foreign investment, and they're now finding it difficult because of the world economy
To service the debts.
to service the debt. So he decided, look, he's going to
Increase taxes.
taxes. Yes.
To service the debt.
Now there's something called timing, you know. And people don't like to hear. We must train our professionals, our technicians. When you have advisors and technicians who are not trained in the subject of debt management and all of that, you end up being the victim. And it don't make no sense. You run on ball about who mark up Africa. It was mark out. Africa is now independent countries. Here you have the people complain that they're suffering. Right? Not all of Kenya fault. You know, the world economy, war, and they push up the price of goods. And in some cases, crop failure, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So the people protest. A number of persons were killed by the police while they were protesting. So he decided, look, to save the country, because it would just denigrate,
Escalate,
go
yeah.
into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
He said, all right, well, since we're not getting there, we're going to have to borrow. That's what he said, huh?
All
We're
right.
going to have to borrow.
Rather than increase, borrow.
Rather than increase, because that's the option.
But you're still going to increase your debts.
You borrow to pay. That's
They
what
go
I'm
hold.
saying.
They go hold to
That's
stop a
what I'm
hold.
saying. If they were managing, sometimes you don't manage. So anyway, on Facebook, a number of his young cabinet members, like ours, flaunting what they have.
We got 2 minutes, eh?
And you have the voice of one saying, oh, well, I own a helicopter, and he got buildings all over here and all over there. Now, he could get them legitimately, but why say it at a time?
Like now.
Yes.
That's
my
insensitive.
point, you
That's
know?
insensitive.
That's my point. So to come tell me I must hold the middle ground. What exactly is the middle ground? To come up with the history again? You see it happening in Cuba, you know. People in Cuba, no electricity, food shortage, and the people protest, and you say America send them. It seems that the people that...
The embargo, the U.S. embargo is still crippling Cuba's economy and child development.
That is a fact.
Yes.
But to say that the Americans send them to rebel, to protest. You see the change? You protest, you therefore look to other countries to give you help. All of us could do it. You understand what I'm saying? You don't go and jail everybody, and then you go to the embargo. Countries have got to step up. UN say it is illegal, therefore you do what you have to do.
Okay.
So to say, well, I am saying they were wrong to do it. Why say it at that time?
We're going to have to leave it there today, Sister Henry. We're actually out of time, but your point is well taken.
All right, then. So
hopefully...
I'm not against you. The truth is the truth.
No, we're good, man. We're good. We don't have an issue
Yeah,
at all.
I got my piece to say.
Listen, I have so much respect for you. I've never disrespected you.
Wrong and right is right.
Never intend to. We're good, right?
The timing was wrong.
And your time is wrong because you called late. But I thank you very much for making your contribution.
I doze off.
All right.
All right then.
Okay, all right. And hopefully on Friday we can continue the national debate on various issues. My name is Socrates. It was a pleasure being here today hosting the program called Voices. I want to wish each and every one of you the rest of a very safe and wonderful Wednesday. God's willing, we chat on Friday morning.
Attention, savvy shoppers. It's that time of year again to upgrade your home and feed your family with Hortford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. For over 25 years, we've been making dreams come true